We're up to the H's now on the banners, and we have, if indeed all 100 counties are represented, this will be a very large delegation indeed.
The Capitol building with the red, blue, and white bunting. I say red, blue, and white because that's the order of precedence in North Carolina.
There's something nice about seeing that sturdy old building that's been here so long. At the same time, we're watching the Youth Involvement Office delegation walk by. There's something very appropriate about that. There's a continuity going on, and just as the inaugural ceremony itself is not an ending or a beginning, it is a continuity, it's a passing on of leadership from one to another.
For those around the state who haven't seen the Capitol and may be planning to come here sometime, you're going to be charmed by the upper and lower house chambers. They are absolutely beautiful. They've been restored to their former beauty after years of use. Oh my. Here comes the East Rutherford Marching Cavalier Band from Rutherford County, Forest City. Joe Nanny is the director of the Marching Cavaliers. 1984, they topped off their Class A championship, the Tropicana Music Bowl in South Carolina. Here they come.
They're also from the western part of the state. Rutherford County is sort of on the edge of the mountains, and they are from Forest City. They have also come a long way. Again, we have a number of participants from the western part of the states who have made an effort to get here to be greeted by sunshine and fine weather at last.
In their note to us, they say with no trepidation, we would love to participate. We beat bands twice our size at marching contests all fall. 54 musicians. Let's listen. Challenge to other bands sounded rather trenchant. They don't look pugnacious to me.
No. And they played very well. I'm fascinated by the color in the costumes this year and the banners. I think things have become somewhat more elaborate in the many, many years since I was in high school.
Here is the Oasis Temple Patrol Marching Unit, 50 men. Organized in the early 1900s, and they have won many shrine competitions.
They are shining brilliantly in our afternoon sun.
They look like New Mexico license plates with the red and gold, you know.
Certainly colorful.
North Forsyth High School Band is next.
I should do this one, John.
Please do.
Just for the sake of my family and my in-laws. My husband's alma mater is North Forsyth Senior High School in Forsyth County in the northern part of Winston-Salem. And these are, if I remember correctly, these are the Vikings. Coming up. Joe Allred is the band director. They have 80 musicians and they have 2 majorettes. And their banner carriers are sensibly bundled up.
They have a background description that says they're energetic young people, enthusiastic. Listen, you know they are.
It sounds like it.
House of the United States House of Representatives is a freshman. He's Bill Covey, congressman from the 4th Congressional District. He's a Republican, so he should at least get a rise out of the Governor, James Martin.
And he is one of the newest members of the delegation from North Carolina. He was just elected in 1984, and I suppose just sworn in this week. He probably had to rush back from Washington to be in the parade. Indeed, an enthusiastic reception from Governor and Mrs. Martin. He represents the Capital District. He is our Congressman, John.
Alex McMillan will be the next congressman to appear. Here he comes. He's from Charlotte. He's took Governor Martin's seat. Congressman for the 9th Congressional District is Alex McMillan, another Republican.
Continuing a tradition of Republican representation in that seat for a number of years. There was some confusion because his Democratic opponent for Mr. Martin's seat was a Democrat named Martin. So it got to be confusing trying to keep up with the election returns.
Governor Martin is waving to Congressman McMillan. Mr. McMillan enjoying the salutation. Governor Martin still has a residence in Alexandria. Of course, he'll be taking care of that quite soon. Now,
don't be insulted, folks. This is their name.
From Raleigh. Why do we get from Raleigh a hillbilly band?
We
the
had
Amran
cloggers.
Temple. They've refurbished an old school bus. You got a load of
like
this.
it. This is the hillbilly unit from the Amran Temple. It's not the name we give them, it's the name they give themselves. And they are from Raleigh. And apparently this is what they do. A lot of the temple representations show a lot of imagination in designing parade units. Some of them may be bagpipers or hillbillies or whatever, or the little fire trucks, any number of different things. Oh, they have country hams hanging off the back and a jug band and
It's a washboard.
an old mountaineer. I tell you, they've got the whole route.
And if they're hillbillies, they must be finding a hill someplace in Raleigh. I haven't seen one that would support that bus itself. Well, Audrey, it's time for you and another interesting sidelight. What's going on?
All right, here we are with someone who didn't have to travel very far. Your name, please?
Bill Thorpe,
And you're from?
Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Now, why would you come all the way to Raleigh when you could just sit at home and watch on television?
Well, it's better to be here than to watch it over TV.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
What do you think of this parade so far?
Well, it's a normal parade, and it's just good to be here with all the politicians.
Well, we'll watch. Here comes another politician just about right now, so let's watch more of the parade.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey.
I
Well,
think the next in line is another one of the new congressmen. I
this
think
would
Mr.
be
Coble.
Howard Coble
Yes, another one of the new members.
Greensboro.
Yes, recently
He-
elected.
He will represent the 6th Congressional District. He's a new congressman, another freshie, a Republican, and another one who should get a splendid reception from the inaugural reviewing stand from Governor Martin.
Mr. Coble is a veteran in politics. He is beginning his term as a congressman, but he is well known certainly in that district in Republican Party politics and has been for some time. He's been a very active and visible figure there.
Well, Congressman Coble is giving both sides of the parade route a hearty hello, and a shout from James Martin responds. Jimmy Green as well.
Yes. Congressman Coble has just informed someone standing on the press side of the spectators that he still owes them money from something, so perhaps this can be something that is negotiated at a later date.
Congressman Hendon of Asheville is a congressman from the 11th Congressional District, and another Republican as well, Bill Hendon.
Representing the far west.
Mrs. Hendon?
And Mrs. Hendon. One of the nice things about the inaugural parade is it's one time when the leaders from all levels of government get together and get to have a good time, ostensibly honoring the governor, because it is certainly his occasion, but it's a good time for them to renew acquaintance, whether they are of the same political party or not. There's always business to be done and always business to be transacted, and it certainly pays them to know each other and know each other well.
St. Augustine's, which is located here in Raleigh, is going to be represented by Miss St. Augustine's College, Vivian Ratchiff. For those of you who don't know St. Aug's, it's a black private college. It is sectarian, Episcopalian, and it is on the east side of Raleigh.
Yes, very close to here. We're only about a mile from St. Augustine's where we are.
You're watching the North Carolina Association Broadcasters coverage of the inaugural parade from Raleigh. We're sitting on the east side of the Capitol building, and separating us from the governor's reviewing stand is the line of march. My, how about that chapeau?
He came prepared for western weather today, I think. We're awaiting the approach of the Forest Hills High School marching band. You saw them a moment ago and we can see them, but when they get a little closer we'll be able to hear them as well. And Superintendent Phillips, who has a responsibility, I hadn't really thought of that. He's watching a whole lot of his responsibility walk by him today, since he's responsible for all public education in the state below the college or junior college level. A great many, if not all, of these high school bands fall under his jurisdiction in one way or another.
Dan Sturdivant is the band director of the Forest Hills High School. Jacket Regiment in Union County. Tell me Union County.
Union County. Union County is near Charlotte. This particular band is from Marshville, but most people would recognize Union County for two things. One would be the town of Monroe, and the other would be is that if Andrew Jackson was born in North Carolina, he was born in Union County.
And this is the best majorette, the first place band class AA at the Forbush Band Day, East Bend, North Carolina. The best majorette, second place in the drumline and flagline, and superior ratings through all. They took a first place at the Albemarle Showcase for Class AA bands, and their drum major was named Top Superior Best Rating. Here they are, the Forest Hills High School Band. There goes the music. They've done it to me again.
Oh, I think we've learned the drill. There they go. Because they're certainly decked out royally in black and gold, aren't they?
Oh, my, indeed. But I haven't seen a Demon Deacon with feathers like that. It looks more
That's
like
true.
Virginia. Here comes the man who has announced his departure to come from Duke University, his former governor, Terry Sanford, who is now president of Duke, but he has announced his retirement. There were some talk and rumors and speculation, which he did confirm that he was being considered for leadership in the Democratic Party. But after some remarks on the fractionalization of the Democratic Party, he declined the honor, at least for present.
He is remembered very fondly as a fine governor. It's hard to believe it's been more than 20 years since he served as governor in North Carolina. Behind him is another former governor, Robert Scott, and his wife.
Robert Scott now is the president of the system of community colleges throughout the state of North Carolina. A big job.
Indeed, indeed. And that is his wife, Jessie Ray. They are from Alamance County. And in between them in service would have been Governor Dan Moore, and his first lady is Janelle Moore. They are on the reviewing stand. They are not in the parade, but they are seated among the VIPs today, so they are present.
We're very fortunate that we have the senior statesman from the State House in the past, and here is another one who will be warmly received by the new governor, James Martin. It is James Holzhauser, the preceding Republican governor. He was the first in a century,
yes,
and Martin is, of course, the second. He served in 73 through 77. The only other Republican governor in this century.
I'm sure there'll be all sorts of dissertations written about the secret to getting elected to the governorship in North Carolina is to be named Jim. That seems to have become a trend in recent years. Following the former governors is the woman who is mostly responsible for what you're seeing today and many of the other inaugural events. Patrick Dorsey, that is Mrs. Patrick Dorsey, and her husband, Commander P.C. Dorsey of Newbern. She is the chairman of the inaugural committee, and she will take over next week as the new secretary of the Department of Cultural Resources. They are from Newbern. He is a retired commander, and she is known for a number of things, and particularly for her personal and professional interest in historic preservation.
Richard Pugh and Mrs. Pugh of Ashboro. He's the vice chairman of the inaugural committee, assisting Patrick Dorsey, who just passed before us. He has been appointed to the inaugural committee was appointed to the inaugural committee by Governor Martin. Some of our notes came to us before the inauguration, so we're going to have to change the tenses.
Right.
Audrey, again, has someone of interest, so, Audrey?
Thank you, John. Yes, I have a very well-decked man here with me. I hope you can see this hat. This hat is marvelous. Tell me your name, please.
I'm Leonard Blythe from
And what-
Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right, Mr. Blythe, did you get here today, or were you here for the ball last night?
No, we come here just today,
Just for the parade.
just for the parade today. And, well, we was inaugural at the swearing-in ceremonies and today and going tonight to the Civic Center. We're going to take in the whole 9 yards today.
And just enjoy it all.
We're loving every bit of it.
Well, has it been everything you thought it would be? Is it as exciting as you expected?
It's been exciting, and to have a guy become governor. I have an 81-year-old mother-in-law. It's never voted in her life, and I got arrested, and we voted straight Republican tickets. Yes, I'm very happy to be down here.
Well, thank you very much for coming to Raleigh and for talking with us, and I hope the rest of your day will be wonderful.
Can't be no better than it is now. It's great.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
the hat.
Well,
Back
come
to
down
you.
to my motorhome, and we'll check out the hat if my wife will agree.
Oh, back to you, Chancey.
Well, the host for today's party is enjoying so much has just passed by. Mayor Avery Upchurch and his wife have gone by. It's the mayor of Raleigh, who is in the middle of his first term, immensely popular here in Raleigh, and enjoying, I think, his first ride in the governor's inaugural parade as the mayor of the capital city.
Was delighted that Audrey found the same chapeau that our
Indeed.
cameraman did, and we remarked upon earlier. Gorgeous hat.
Wonderful, wonderful, and well prepared.
And you can
for the
see
weather
I like
today.
hats.
Yes, John and I were debating about wearing our hats earlier. I'm afraid I abandoned mine because it would have abandoned me in the middle of a windy day as we went on during the time. He, however, has done a little better than I have, and since the sun has come out, it's really not that bad. We're complaining to you a lot about the cold, but it could be a lot worse.
It could have been worse if it were 4 years ago, and I'm glad we're here now.
Well, those of you who remember either watching it or being here 4 years ago, my memory tells me it was between 15 and 20 degrees and the wind was howling. The parade did go on, but if you look at any of the tapes and photographs in that, 6 scarves, 3 hats, and 4 coats were usually the order of the day for anybody who participated in it.
Well, it's a 7th inning stretch across the street in the inaugural reviewing stand, and it's also time to take that stretch and also a nice warm cup of joe. Coffee is the order of the day for James Martin now, and the other dignitaries are enjoying it. Here comes the Myers Park Senior High School Band. They're from Charlotte, and there are 80 musicians in this. Duke Johns is the director of the organization. Here they are, Myers Park. Is that the Firebird?
I don't think so, but it could be.
I could use one. Myers Park, and as I listened to the music they were playing, it is remarkable that these young people are playing music other than the old chestnut marches that we used to play years ago. They go right into the classic and symphonic fields. This Mustang band won numerous awards in marching and concert band contests, as the other performers have who have been here. This is going to be a very interesting salute to the Vietnam veterans of North Carolina. They come from all across the state. They will pause, salute the governor. Look at these gentlemen and ladies.
It's particularly appropriate because the VIP reviewing stand is almost exactly adjacent to the site where ground has already been broken for the new Vietnam Veterans Memorial for North Carolina.
listen to the warm reception. Governor James Martin and Mrs. Martin. And now the colors of the Vietnam veterans and the veterans themselves march up in front of the stand
As
and do
far
a
as we
right
know,
face.
they are the only unit permitted to stop. As far as we know.
The banner for the Vietnam veterans says, "We are not forgotten." You are not forgotten, and indeed they weren't.
Some are in full uniform, some are in camouflage jackets, some are in blue jeans.
The black banner itself has a POW and MIA, prisoner of war and missing in action.
And they're all carrying American flags.
East Lincoln Senior High School Mustang Band of Denver, North Carolina. Where's Denver?
Well, we were talking about Lincolnton earlier,
Yes.
and it is in Lincoln County. It is in the western part of the state, in the sort of radius around Charlotte. And it's actually close to a town in Gaston County called Dallas. And a number of years ago, when I was working for a news department and Dallas and Denver were playing in the Super Bowl, we thought, let's call them up and see if they're all excited about this and have some sort of cross-county rivalry. Nothing. They didn't. Apparently they were very happy with being Denver, North Carolina, and Dallas, North Carolina, and having no one confuse them with the other cities of the same name.
These are star-crossed people. They have selected all their music to be in line with the theme of star. They're playing music from Star Trek, When You Wish Upon a Star, Star by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Chestnuts of Chestnuts, The Stars and Stripes Forever, which no one gets tired of. Neil Underwood is the director of the East Lincoln Senior High School Mustang Band. They have a motorized podium upon which he stands. I don't know whether it'll be here, but let's watch. It's a large organization. There are 160 personnel, 112 musicians, and there's the Stars and Stripes.
You knew that would be the one they'd play for the governor. The flag corps is so large, the band itself is still not quite within sight. Also followed by a rifle corps, drill team.
They're well back there, and if we could line up the awards that stretch from the beginning of the band to the last, we still wouldn't have room. They have won more awards all across the state and South Carolina as well. Great. It's Stars and Stripes Forever, but it is an arrangement that I have never heard before. It's terrific.
Suitable for parades.
Perfectly suited to their instrumentation, too. Orange and green. Oh,
This
here
is
comes something from the
wonderful.
past.
This is wonderful, dog and all.
The Dalmatian, the fire dog, and this is the 1919 fire truck from the city of Goldsboro. There's that handsome non-sporting type dog, the Dalmatian. And there is the successor to the head of government in the state of North Carolina, James Martin. Well, 1919 had sirens as well as now.
Yes, as we see the band, we hear the fire engine. We
band
promised you
is-
Easterners.
And the band is the Gates County Marching Band. They're from northeastern North Carolina.
Yes, indeed.
55 musicians who are playing now. the Gates County Marching Band. Next, the North Carolina Air National Guard Color Guard. They are from the Carolina Air National Guard headquarters down in Charlotte. The mass colors of the Army National Guard. Next, 21 battalion-sized colors from the Army National Guard units across North Carolina.
Most impressive.
You mentioned that there are many units from the military in the state of North Carolina, and here is yet another. The 440th Army Band from the North Carolina Army National Guard in Raleigh, commanded by Chief Warrant Mike Stevens. Hash marks indicating length of service on the drum major and the band leader himself indicate years of dedication. More of that 120-step pace exhibited by the 211th Military Police Company, the National Guard, the Army National Guard, in Clyde, North Carolina. They have a detachment in Asheville.
This has special meaning for any governor, I think, just as seeing the federal military come by and review for the president. The National Guard is what remains of the concept of the militia, and they exist for the defense of the state. And that is what they are for, and he has a great deal of authority over them. So this undoubtedly has special meaning to him as he sees the National Guard out in force for his honor today.
Bessemer City next. Bessemer City High School Band in Gaston County. This band represented North Carolina in the Cherry Blossom Festival up in Washington, D.C., the national capital. And those cherry blossoms came out rather early this year, as a matter of fact, as did some of our flowering quince around central Piedmont with the warm weather of a couple of weeks ago. Here's the Bessemer City High School Band, 100 musicians. Our live coverage of the 1985 inaugural parade will continue after station identification.
This is the Bessemer City Band that you're still seeing from Gaston County, a neighboring county to Charlotte, the governor's major city nearest the governor's home, from the western part of the state down along the South Carolina border. Gaston County is mostly a textile and industrial area, and Bessemer City is known as a textile town.
Music of romance from that organization. Here is Miss Black Pearl of 1984, representing the Pearl of Truth tent number 148. It's a religious sorority, and Pearl of Truth tent number 148 is a subordinate of a United Order of Tents. Non-profit, they support local and national charity funds. Miss Black Pearl. More cloggers coming up from Cary, a neighbor of Raleigh to the west. The Cary Good Time Cloggers.
They might not be from the mountains, but they bring their mountains with them, and that's very appropriate for a coverage of the 1985 inaugural parade in honor of Governor Martin, our newly elected governor, and the members of the Council of State. His theme is the United State, and we are bringing this coverage to you live all afternoon as a project of the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters. And I'm Chancy Camp, and with me is John Dalzell from WUNC-FM Radio in Chapel Hill. I work for the University of North Carolina Center for Public Television. And I can't do that.
Well, I've never seen a trailer bounce up and down, but cloggers will do it, won't they? They were formed in 1980. They danced for private and public appearances. They also appeared at the 82 World's Fair up in Knoxville, uphill. North Surrey High School at Mount Airy. You remember that?
Everybody in North Carolina knows about Mount Airy. It's the home of Andy Griffith, Sheriff Andy.
This is the Pleasure Islands Band Festival of 1984. They received the highest marching score in 3 years of those classics. Here they are with Gene Talaferro Jones, band director. Though the temperature is a bit brisk, I don't think anyone is giving up on the parade because it's just too exciting to quit.
Well, the crowds are still here, the dignitaries are still in place on the reviewing stand, and there's still much more to come.
Pines of Carolina Girl Scout Council of Raleigh. And that reminds us to remind you that the cookies are going to be out
That's
soon.
right, it's almost cookie time. It's just not a good year if you can't, or at least it isn't for me, if I can't get my chocolate mint Girl Scout cookies. I mean, we all have our favorites, but I can't do without those.
Immediately following the Girl Scouts is Eastern Guilford High School Band of Gibsonville, North Carolina. That's not too far away from here, is it?
No, it's just east of Greensboro. It's between Elon College and Greensboro, really. And Gibsonville, the town, sort of straddles the border between Alamance County and Guilford County. They sent a large contingent.
We mentioned one of the other organizations which appeared in last year's Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, and Eastern Guilford will appear this year, April 13th in Washington, D.C.
And we hope there'll be cherry blossoms for them.
A queen for North Carolina is Miss North Carolina, Francesca Adler of Pembroke State University graduate.
She is the reigning Miss North Carolina. As I recall, she was selected from Fayetteville, if I remember, but she is a graduate of Pembroke State University.
I'm sure you hear the heralding of a choo-choo. It's another shrine unit, Amran Temple choo-choo unit.
I don't think we can compete with that, John.
The shrine, and this choo-choo itself was made by in 1980 to promote projects for the crippled children.
And another one of the very original Shriners entries into this parade. I have this feeling we should be giving prizes or something, don't you, John? I want to announce the Queen's Prize or something.
Miss Rocky Mount. Oh, it's time to find out what's going on with Rocky Mount. Because
Yes.
we have a former resident of that city, and that's Audrey Cates Bailey.
Audrey, are you
Are we
down?
all
Oh
set?
yes, I'm here. I had to be the one to
salute,
talk about Rocky Mountain Senior High School since I was a former member of this band. But they're an award-winning band. In fact, 2 years in a row they've won the competition as being the best marching band in the nation. And it's 166 strong, and they are directed by John C. Sykes. Go Griffons!
The gorgeous gal you saw in front of the band was Amy West, who is Miss Rocky Mount. She was sponsored by the Rocky Mount JCs. And of course, Audrey has told you all about that great band. She's as proud as can be, as proud as the citizens of Rocky Mount should be.
We saw the Hunts looking on just a moment ago. Governor and Mrs. Hunt's home in Wilson County is not that far from Rocky Mount. It's in the same part of the state, so those are their neighbors.
Here are the county commissioners and the city commissioners of Moxville and Davie County. Ooh, that's one of those long caddies. It's not quite fire entrant red.
Davie County is to the west of Winston-Salem.
Davidson College, which of course we've told you is where the governor was a chemistry professor in past, sends an Army ROTC detachment. 5 young men.
He's also a graduate of Davidson College, I believe. So he has a great deal of relationship with Davidson College.
Cherryville is next from Gaston. Cherryville Senior High School Band, 60 musicians. It's the first year of competitive marching for this band. They worked in the, or they performed at the Albemarle Showcase of Bands, Central North Carolina Band Festival, Southeastern Classic Band Festival, and Carolina's Carousel Parade. They're directed by J. Michael Rogers, the Cherryville Senior High School Band.
Cherryville is a charming town in Gaston County in the western part of the state, and they have a wonderful New Year's custom which they have just reenacted. The men of the town on New Year's Eve, or in honor of New Year's, go out in the middle of the night and shoot their muskets up into the trees to shoot in the new year for good luck and good fortune in the new year.
Will they do that?
It's a most unusual custom.
Did they come along with the band?
Do they come along with the band? I don't know. We haven't heard that. They have most unusual uniforms for this band. Or at least the flag carriers do.
It extends, well, now we'll join them for music. Going to be that long.
Yes. By the time we get to Phoenix, I think the parade will probably be over by then, indeed.
The town of Pembroke sends a float, and adorning it is Miss Lumbee. She's a beauty queen from down there, La Pomme Oxendine.
Pembroke is near Lumberton in the southeastern part of the state, in Robeson County, and it's an extremely interesting part of the state because it represents a unique cultural mix of Native American, Afro-American, and white settlement there. And Pembroke is, of course, the home of Pembroke State University, of which Francesca Adler, Miss North Carolina, is also a graduate.
Roanoke Rapids, near the Virginia border on I-95. The marching band, 68 musicians. David Hawks directing. We have another list of their accomplishments just in 1 year. Incredible. They're terrific. Superior, excellent, excellent, excellent. You folks in Roanoke Rapids can be well proud of this group. Here come some Boy Scouts. They're from the Occoneechee Council.
Occoneechee, I think it is.
Occoneechee Council. If I played golf on that golf course, perhaps I'd remember how to pronounce it.
They're headquartered in Raleigh.
This is the council that supervises Boy Scout activities in this area, right?
And Cub Scouts as well.
Governor Martin.
Governor Martin was just flashing the Cub Scout sign to the young men. I take it with some feeling of relationship there. You suppose he could still recite the Pledge and the laws?
I'm sure he could. The Northeast Senior High School Band of Guilford is next. Guilford County, that is, in Greensboro. This organization has won awards as well. They won the Honey of Kerry Trophy at Kerry Band Day. Let's listen to them. Downtown.
Called McLeansville, which is just outside of Greensboro. For a small town in a small area, they put together quite a large band. playing beach music for us as we sit here on a chilly day.
It looks like we'll have a respite from some of the units here for just a few moments, a little break in the festivities. So, Audrey's again. All right, Audrey, what now?
Well, I'm here with a young spectator. Your name, please?
Dustin Gurley,
Dustin Gurley. And where are you from, Dustin?
Lexington.
You've been shivering quite a bit. You're cold, aren't you? It's cold out here, but you're still having fun, aren't you? What's the best thing you like about the parade?
The band.
The bands. You think you'll be in a band one day? What do you think of our new governor? Don't know. Have to wait and see, huh? Well, Dustin, thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of it and that you'll get warm and thaw out. Thank you. Back to you, Chancey.
Audrey, you've done it again, eh?
Indeed. You know, sometimes spectators have so much fun it's difficult for them to tell about it. We can see in the distance, we don't know if you can hear it yet, the next drill team and band coming up. In fact, just passing in front of us, it's not visible on the screen right now, but it is directly in front of the stand, is the unit preceding them. There they are.
They're the North Carolina A&T State University ROTC drill team. So, watch.
North Carolina A&T is in Greensboro. It is the largest of the historically black-oriented members of the University of North Carolina campus system.
Governor Martin is watching intently the performance by this ROTC drill team, which opened, by the way, that's a Queen Anne salute when they salute with the crossed arm but on one knee.
It's very unusual what they're doing. You don't see this very often. They represent a very proud institution. Counts among its graduates, unless I miss my guess, the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Their advisor is James Jackson, Master Sergeant up with the U.S. Army. And here comes the Clinton High School Band of Sampson.
They are from Sampson County, from the town of Clinton.
And like others performing in a line of march, they have won all kinds of awards. First places, best in state. Next, you may think this is a tank, but it's not.
Isn't.
It's a howitzer, a self-propelled 155 millimeter M109, and the National Guard fellow told you that it was
Just a cannon.
This is a cannon.
That's a cannon. I would call that a tank if I saw that on a dark street coming at me. I don't know about you, but...
Look at the size of this thing. At 26.5 tons, they can speed up to 35 miles per hour. Taking the salute, Governor Martin, as one of the personnel becomes unbuttoned and opens the trap door. 300 horsepower diesel engine moves that thing. You know, in World War II, we did not have diesel engines, and we were subject to so much pyrotechnics, while the German tanks did have diesels, which allowed them to perform more efficiently and avoid those terrible death traps in fires. West Davidson arrives. They're from Lexington, which, by the way, is on the route for the new train, Raleigh to Charlotte.
We have a number of people, from what I understand, in the reports that I've heard, who actually took the train to get here. Loaded up in Asheville and stopped all the way along and riding the new train as well as existing routes to get here to join in what is called the Martin Victory Celebration. So the train has already carried a number of passengers on things other than just holiday trips.
Oh, we were talking about the inaugural special. Let's talk about the West Davidson High School Band, who is the director. He's John Gardner. There are 65 players in this band, and there are 20 majorettes. And lest I forget, 16 flag bearers.
Lexington is in Davidson County and is another illustration of the confusion because Davidson is not in Davidson County. But I think the governor will be glad to claim some ownership here.
That golden bell. This is one of those unusual bands that has an electric bass.
An electric bass. Is he with them? Yes, he is with them. He
Yes,
has his
he's
own
right in
little
the
cart
center.
that travels along with him. This next attraction has an unusual name. John, if you want to explain that.
This is the Air Force ROTC, a detachment from A&T University up in Greensboro. They've provided a steady flow of highly qualified officers since the unit was activated in 1951. And about that name, why don't you do it?
The Aerospace Exhibition Drill Team. It just makes you wonder, what could it possibly mean? But what it means is they do a wonderful routine. They are directly in front of the reviewing stand and somehow managing to do their routine and move down the street at the same time without breaking stride. I think that's rather extraordinary.
Next, the R.J. Reynolds Senior High School Band of Winston-Salem. 63 in the band, 10 majorettes. Band director is Charles Burns.
Reynolds is quite an old high school and very well known in the area. Named after the obvious R.J. Reynolds. Properly known as Richard J. Reynolds, but you almost never hear that. It's always R.J. And once again, garbed like their Winston-Salem neighbors in black and gold.
Thank you very much. They stopped and played for us this time instead of stopping playing before they got to us. From Robeson County, the Indian Education Project. Robeson County Schools Indian Education Program is a federally financed program. It's designed to help the educational opportunities of Indian students by providing more exposure to cultural activities and education. It's an educational experience. They tutor, they work on the world of work, special enrichment, resource trips, and following the Robeson County Indian Project is the Northmore High School Band from Robbins, North Carolina, in Moore County. This is my country.
And these are one of the mini bands we're seeing today, known as the Mustangs. They are
appropriate, too. They played at the Baltimore Preakness Parade.
Indeed.
And Disney World, and Cypress Gardens, and Steve Van Pelt is the band director.
I continue to think it's remarkable that so many of the bands from smaller communities, Robbins is not a large city, it's a small area, and yet they're able to support a band of this quality and send them, support them to the level where they're not only able to tour and compete in these places, but to win prizes and awards, and I think it's a credit to them. That's in the northern part of Moore County. A lot of people recognize Moore County from Southern Pines and Pinehurst, which are in the southern part. This one's different.
More from north of the British Isles, at least the theme is, the Highland Lassies, the Flora MacDonald Academy. They're from Lumber Bridge, North Carolina.
Yes, Lumber Bridge is in Robeson County. It's down around Lumberton. Flora MacDonald was a women's college and then a private school, and the old building was heavily damaged in the tornadoes of this spring. And they have formed this group as a way of keeping the heritage of the school alive. Flora MacDonald is named after a Scottish heroine who lived in North Carolina for a time and is very much associated with Bonnie Prince Charlie and that very romantic part of Scottish history.
Here's the North Carolina Shrine Bagpipers following them. They were formed in 1976 for the Robeson County Shrine Club to have a parade unit. Well, if you're going to have a parade unit, you have to have something to put in it.
I think they succeeded.
They entertained it before the parade right here in front of the inaugural stand, waiting for Governor Martin to arrive.
That reflects the strong Highland Scot heritage in the south central and southeastern part of the state around Fayetteville and Lumberton.
Well, let's move to the other end of the state, Elizabethtown in Bladen County. Here's the fire department. 1929 model fire truck.
Well, it's not that far away, John. Elizabethtown, Bladen County is just 3 or 4 counties over. It's southeastern instead of south central. Fire trucks seem to be the rage today, and that one certainly makes a splendid noise.
Well, I was thinking the Highlands.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Polk County, another band following that distinguished fire truck. The Hope County High Marching Band near Fayetteville. 157 musicians. This, I think, is at least one of the largest we've seen.
If we've seen a larger one yet today, I don't recall it. Polk County borders on Cumberland County, and a good deal of the part of the country of the county is taken up by Fort Bragg itself.
Jimmy Jones is director of the Hope County Marching Band. It's enormous.
Well, according to our notes under special vehicle requirements, it says it takes them 5 charter buses. So when you think about raising funds to help support a school activity, think about 5 charter buses every time you have to take your band somewhere.
And to outfit the band, that takes quite a bit of support from the hometown, Rayford. The county, indeed.
Polk County is one of the counties that you memorize in North Carolina history in junior high school because there are only a few that have only 4 letters, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what the other ones are. I don't remember.
Miss Fayetteville, Joni Parker, on your screens now. Lovely girl, appropriately attired in the fur coat.
Miss Parker represents Fayetteville. She now lives in Raleigh.
From Edenton. Now that's east.
That's east. That's east, and it's very old in the history of the state. One of our elegant old villages.
John A. Holmes High School. The Marching Aces of Edenton, 59. You see, that's even 1/3 of the Hope Band preceding them. But they've taken first place the past 3 years in the Virginia State Fair Class 1A. So they're nobody's pushover.
And Tryon County and Edenton are quite small communities in terms of population. And the fact that they can support a prize-winning band is a credit to the support of the people and the love they feel for what is a truly lovely community. Have you been to Edenton, John?
I confess no.
I confess no. We'll have to get you there. It is an elegant village of 18th and 19th century buildings clustered around one of the oldest known bays in the state. It has an elegance and loveliness all its own. And it is indeed east. It is along the Albemarle Sound.
We shall be lucky and hear them. This is North Carolina's 4th of July Queen, who travels as a festal ambassador to the North Carolina 4th of July Festival, which is held annually in Southport. The Queen is Candy Cane.
And that genuinely is her name.
Really?
Really. It's in Brunswick County. That's in the as Edenton was in the far northeast, so Brunswick County runs right up against South Carolina in the far southeast. Known for obviously lovely young women, great seafood, beautiful beaches.
From New London, North Carolina, is the North Stanley High School Band. They're down east too, aren't they?
No, There's always a
Albemarle is-
confusion. Albemarle
That's
is
the
a town
sound.
in the there's Albemarle Sound in the northeast.
Uh-huh.
The town of Albemarle is in fact a town which is not too far from Concord, Kannapolis, and Charlotte. And New London is a small town right outside the town of Albemarle in Stanley County.
I should be writing this down.
Stanley County is known for a number of different things, one of which is being the center of the old gold mining region in North Carolina. North Carolina, until the discovery of gold in the West, was the nation's leading gold mining state. Stanley County had a great deal of that. And perhaps their outfits reflect that with their western hats.
And more Shriners from the Kabbalah Temple of Raleigh.
Preceded by a most entertaining clown. These are dressed somewhat differently. They're all in white, very strikingly dressed with their...
They dedicate their work to sponsoring Little League baseball teams in the Raleigh area, capital city.
with their Middle Eastern style headdresses. They're quite impressive.
You're watching coverage of the inaugural parade initiating the taking of office of James Martin as the new governor of North Carolina. This live coverage comes to you through the cooperation of the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters. Next in the line of march from Greenville, the D.H. Conley High School Marching Band. Another winner in the Mardi Gras Parade in New Orleans. And they are going to Walt Disney World this year. Wonderful trips.
I was going to say, I think I like their itinerary. They seem to do the fun things.
I like the music too. Well, here comes another cannon. It's not a tank. It's another self-propelled howitzer. It has its overcoat on, apparently, trying to keep the muzzle warm. It's 8-inch. That's what a size that is. Normally it carries a crew of 5. It weighs 53,500 pounds, and this one too goes 35 miles per hour.
I must confess, I shudder to think of the occasion that would call for the calling out of the National Guard with this equipment.
Couldn't you imagine riding in that in a bumpy road? Uh-oh.
Seem to have an enforcer loose on the street.
Keystone Cops. You're going the wrong way, sir. They come from Knightsdale. Well, let's watch what happens there.
Through Knightdale's contribution to the Amran Temple participation in the parade. Oh, I think you've done something wrong, John. You're headed this way.
And they come equipped with a Black Mariah, too. The Keystone Cop Shriners from Amran Temple of Knightsdale. South Granville has sent their high school band from Creedmoor. It's another large one, not 160, but 106. Eddie Daniels is the band director. They have knocked down championships just far away in North Carolina as Cullowhee. 7 first places in marching competition. The South Granville High School Band.
From not too far from here. Granville County is just to the north, and Creedmoor is not far from Raleigh. They're representing the Piedmont section of North Carolina.
next is the Oak Ridge Military Academy Honor Guard from Guilford County. 19 personnel participating.
Oak Ridge Military Academy is basically a preparatory school. It's in the northwestern corner of Guilford County and has a very old and very proud tradition.
The line of march here is to the south down Wilmington Street, and they go, about 6 blocks south of where we sit now at the Capitol, turn right for 1 block, and march up a paralleling street, Salisbury, on the other side of the Capitol building. Well, we have another clown, and we also have a penny farthing as well. There it is, the penny farthing. So called because the penny was one of the huge coins in Britain. And the farthing, of course, minuscule.
And it certainly is not a unicycle, as I mistakenly called one earlier, because it has 2 wheels, not 1.
Well, this one has 1.5. It seems to be a little off-center, this bicycle. This is the Sudan Oasis Amran Marching Band drums. North Carolina's Shrine Pipe Band with bagpipes and drums are coming up next from Garner.